There is a silent, invisible weight you are carrying right now. It is heavy, it is exhausting, and it is quietly dictating every major decision you make, every relationship you sabotage, and every anxious thought that keeps you staring at the ceiling at 2 in the morning. You might think you are moving forward in life. You might think you are healing, grinding, and growing. But until you confront the absolute core of your psychological baggage, you are merely running on an emotional treadmill. You are burning massive amounts of energy, but staying in the exact same psychological place. The Stoics understood a fundamental truth about human suffering. We suffer much more in our imagination than we do in reality. And the primary, dominant fuel for this imagined suffering is unhealed resentment. If you want to truly unlock your human potential, if you want to completely rewire your brain for peace, power, and unshakable forward momentum, there are exactly 4 people you need to forgive. Only 4, no more and no less. But doing this will require you to drop your ego, face your deepest shadows, and fundamentally change how you view your own timeline. Listen to this very carefully, because the next few minutes have the profound potential to completely dissolve decades of emotional imprisonment. First, you must forgive your parents. This is often the hardest and most bitter pill to swallow. You must forgive them for what they did, and equally, you must forgive them for what they utterly failed to do. You must forgive the harsh words that cut you so deeply they eventually became your own internal monologue. You must forgive the agonizing silences that shaped your insecurities and taught you to shrink yourself. Modern psychology reveals that almost all of our adult wounds, our anxious attachment styles, our deep fear of abandonment, and our desperate, endless need for external validation begin in the dark shadows of our childhood. When you are a young child, your parents are practically gods to you. They are large, all-knowing, and infallible. So when they fail you, when they project their own unhealed generational trauma onto your fragile shoulders, your developing brain cannot process the fact that they are just flawed humans. Instead, your mind internalizes their failure and tells you that you are the problem. You are the one who is hard to love. You carry this toxic lie straight into adulthood. You keep trying to earn the love they could not give, or you aggressively rebel against the authority they poorly exercised. But here is the profound psychological breakthrough you must internalize today. Your parents were just regular people, handed a damaged script by their own traumatized parents, trying to survive a life they probably did not fully understand themselves. They were fighting vicious, invisible battles they never told you about. Release the heavy weight of expecting them to have been perfect. Stop carrying the deep pain of their limitations. It absolutely no longer serves you. Forgiving them does not mean you excuse toxic behavior or allow them to continue crossing your boundaries today. It means you are officially resigning from the exhausting role of the wounded child. You are taking back the pen, and you are writing the rest of your own story. Second, you must forcefully and unapologetically forgive the people who have deeply hurt you. I am talking about the ones who maliciously betrayed your trust, the ones who coldly rejected your love, the people who abandoned you when you needed them the most. This is the exact moment where your ego fights back the hardest. Your brain screams that forgiving them is a sign of ultimate weakness, that it lets them off the hook, that it somehow invalidates the immense, soul-crushing pain they caused you. But you must understand the dark neurobiology of a grudge. When you hold on to resentment, you are keeping a toxic neurological link active between you and your abuser. You are allowing them to live rent-free inside your mind, burning your cognitive calories, spiking your cortisol levels, and keeping your central nervous system trapped in a perpetual state of fight or flight. Resentment is the exact equivalent of drinking poison every single day and eagerly waiting for your enemy to die. It is pure madness. Forgiveness is not a warm gift you give to them. It is a necessary surgical procedure you perform on yourself to remove a malignant tumor. It is the ultimate act of psychological freedom and self-preservation. You do not forgive them because they somehow deserve your peace. They probably do not deserve anything from you. You forgive them because you desperately deserve your own peace. You detach your emotional baseline from their toxic actions. When you truly, deeply forgive the person who betrayed you, you strip them of all their remaining power over your life. They become nothing more than a passing, insignificant cloud in the vast, open sky of your existence. You take your power back, absolutely, entirely, and completely. Third, and this is where most people completely fall apart, you must forgive yourself. Look back at your life. Look at the terrible, embarrassing mistakes you have made. Look at the times you completely ignored your own worth, the times you stayed in relationships that steadily broke you down, the times you self-sabotaged your own brilliant success because you secretly, deeply believed you did not deserve it. You hold on to so much silent shame. You constantly play the highlight reel of your absolute worst moments on an infinite loop in your head. You cringe at your past ignorance, punishing yourself endlessly for the things you got wrong. But think about this from a clinical, psychological perspective. The only reason you are even able to look back and cringe at your past actions is because you have grown. That heavy guilt you feel is actually the empirical, undeniable proof of your personal evolution. We all fall. We all break ourselves trying to survive in a chaotic world that did not come with an instruction manual. The version of you that made those embarrassing, painful, or highly destructive decisions was likely operating out of deep fear, unhealed trauma, or a desperate, blinding need for survival. They were doing the absolute best they could with the severely limited emotional tools they had access to at the time. Stop punishing the version of you that did not yet know better. Have some profound, radical self-compassion. The constant mental self-flagellation does not make you a better person. It just keeps you trapped in a low-frequency state of self-loathing, making you highly susceptible to repeating the exact same destructive cycles over and over again. Forgive your past self. Thank them for surviving the darkest nights so that you could be here today, fully equipped with the precious wisdom they suffered so intensely to acquire. Integrate your past. Do not exile it. Accept it as the rugged foundation of your current strength. Fourth and finally, you must forgive the people you have hurt, and you do this by actively seeking their forgiveness. If you were wrong, you must swallow your pride and admit it. We live in a shallow society that is entirely obsessed with protecting the fragile ego at all absolute costs. We deflect, we project, we justify, and we masterfully rationalize our own toxic behavior, while simultaneously acting as the harsh judge and jury for the behavior of everyone else. But blind pride destroys infinitely more lives than failure ever will. It rots beautiful relationships from the inside out. It isolates you on an island of your own stubborn delusion. Sometimes, the most profound psychological healing you will ever experience begins with 5 simple, deeply ego-crushing words. I was wrong, I am sorry. Saying these words out loud requires immense, undeniable emotional maturity. It requires you to step completely outside of your own defensive mechanisms and truly, empathetically acknowledge the pain you have caused another human being. When you cowardly refuse to admit fault, you carry a subconscious, heavy layer of guilt that heavily anchors your soul to the ground. You cannot fly, you cannot elevate, when you are secretly carrying the heavy stones of your unacknowledged wrongs. Apologizing is not a sign of defeat. It is the ultimate, undeniable flex of true inner strength and profound self-awareness. It clearly shows the world, and your own subconscious mind, that you value truth and authentic connection far more than the fragile, brittle illusion of always being right. By bravely facing your own capacity to cause harm, you integrate your dark shadow. You become whole, you become grounded, and you become terrifyingly real. Now, here comes the absolute most important part of this entire psychological framework, the massive paradigm shift that will permanently alter the entire trajectory of your life. You must fully understand that forgiveness does not, in any way, shape, or form, erase the past. It does not magically rewind the clock. It does not unbreak what was completely shattered. What it actually does is infinitely more powerful and practical. It removes the past's controlling grip over your present and your future. The human brain is an advanced prediction machine, constantly using past data to anticipate future outcomes. When your past data is heavily corrupted by unhealed trauma, deep resentment, and silent guilt, your brain can only predict more pain, causing you to constantly act defensively, anxiously, and fearfully in the present moment. By actively choosing the path of forgiveness, you are essentially going deep into the source code of your own mind and rewriting the entire algorithm. You are permanently changing the emotional weight and gravity of your own memories. You are finally telling your exhausted nervous system that the long, invisible war is over. The exact moment you stop carrying resentment, you instantly free up massive amounts of cognitive and emotional bandwidth. This is the exact energy you need to build an empire, to cultivate a deeply loving relationship, to get your physical body in peak elite condition, and to truly excel in every area of human endeavor. You cannot climb a towering mountain while stubbornly dragging a heavy corpse behind you. The past is dead. Let it go. Cut the thick ropes. Free yourself from the heavy, suffocating chains of yesterday's grievances. If you are truly committed to learning how to let go of what no longer deserves your precious, limited energy, if you are finally ready to stop being a helpless victim of your personal history and start being the powerful architect of your own destiny, you must deeply internalize these 4 pillars of Stoic forgiveness. Let this be the moment you finally exhale. Let this be the exact second you completely decide that your bright future is far too important to be hijacked by the fading ghosts of your past. Move forward. Walk unburdened. Become entirely unstoppable.